Superhero fatigue is a term you hear thrown around a lot recently, especially in the past few years, but is it actually starting to kick in now? Are we actually seeing the effects of superhero fatigue, or is it something else? Bar 2020, 2011 was the last time we did not have a superhero movie gross in the top 5 movies in the world. And this year will be the second time since 2011 that we did not have a top 5 grossing superhero movie. Superman grossed at 8, while Fantastic Four grossed at number 10 and Thunderbolts at number 13. Superhero fatigue is definitely a factor in it, but it's not the full story, because Deadpool and Wolverine last year grossed over $1.3 billion worldwide, and that is a R-rated superhero movie, so it had the R rating, and it still grossed over $1.3 billion, the second superhero movie to do so since the original Joker in 2019. DC did outperform Marvel this year, but it's still facing its own challenges, it being DC, the brand that has not been seen positively by audiences in the past 5 years or so, maybe even like the past decade, really. Black Adam, Shazam 2, The Flash, Joker 2, all of which are seen poorly and negatively in audiences and did not make any money and actually lost money. It didn't help that the announcement of the cancellation of the prior universe made all these movies irrelevant, but it's also what contributes to the audiences not liking DC, because it's like, alright, what's the point of these movies? If these ones just got all reset and don't matter to the universe, why would these matter to the universe? You don't have that trust with Warner Brothers, with DC, because it's like, alright, why should I grow attached to these actors when you just announced Cavill was coming back, and then 2 weeks later, Gunn announces that no, Cavill is not coming back. It's this distrust that builds between these two companies, and then the public sees that and I'm like, alright, we're just not going to see it. Now, I do think DC is slowly building up its reputation again with Peacemaker, with Superman 2 is already announced, Supergirl movies coming out next year, so I definitely think there is going to be more trust with DC and the public, but that still takes time to grow. It's still going to be a long time before we see a $1 billion DC movie. I mean, the Batman couldn't even gross $1 billion. And that's not to say that $1 billion is what you need to make to be successful. That's not true at all. But in the same year of the Batman came out, Doctor Strange 2 grossed $955 million, and that movie was not good. So it goes to show that the DC brand is much more damaged than the Marvel brand, where Marvel can release an absolute stinker and still make more money than DC, up until this year at least. Which brings me into Marvel and their problem, because they have a very interesting position that they are in. Last year, Deadpool and Wolverine grossed $1.3 billion. This year, the Thunderbolts couldn't even make $400 million, and Fantastic Four just barely went over $500 million. So they both lost money after marketing and everything, so what's going on with Marvel here? Deadpool and Wolverine was definitely carried by nostalgia and seeing the return of Hugh Jackman and Deadpool, so it's kind of a no-brainer in why it grossed over $1 billion. No matter how mediocre the plot may have been, it's pure nostalgia, it was carried by that, and that will bring you the money. Thunderbolts, I think, was my favorite movie this year, and it was the biggest bomb of any superhero movie as of lately. I think the movie was really good, the characters were solid, and the plot was solid, and it lost a lot of money, and I just don't think it should have. Like, that's the one movie that did deserve to make money this year, if I had to pick one. And this is why I think the problem is Marvel fatigue. Specifically, Marvel has a very similar formula with all their movies that they release, right? You know it's a Marvel movie, you know the end credit scene is gonna have some significance into the next one. Like, they all had like the same plot, and you could tell that with any Marvel movie. And DC kind of follows suit, but Marvel has this very strict plot that they follow, and I feel like audiences are getting very tired of it. Oh, there's a superhero coming up, oh, there's a villain, maybe the villain kills a side character, then the villain dies, and oh, it leads to a few breadcrumbs into the next Avengers movie that's a few years away, or the next team up movie that's coming out next year. And nothing significant ever happens unless it's in a big team-up movie or a big Avengers movie. And I feel like audiences are just tired of it and can predict the movie before they even see it. Or the trailer just spoils it all, too. And then Marvel releases a bunch of TV shows also that don't feel connected to the MCU, but they are. You're just wondering, like, half the time, where is everybody? Especially in Daredevil Born Again, where all the superheroes that we've seen the past 2 decades are in New York, and we don't see any of them in New York when this whole operation on superheroes or vigilantes is going down. It feels disconnected and almost makes you uninterested in watching Marvel projects because it's like, all right, it's supposed to be connected. It doesn't really feel like it's connected, and really the only point of this show or this movie is to lead into some bigger grand project. Not saying that's the case with Daredevil Born Again specifically, but that's the case with a lot of other projects. I think Marvel cutting back on its projects is smart. I think they need to revisit the formula they have with Marvel movies, make them actually feel like they have stake, make them actually feel like the characters are not safe, because right now you go into any movie, the characters are safe, right? The superheroes are safe, the side characters are safe. Maybe if it gets a third movie in the trilogy, someone important gets killed off, but other than that, nothing ever happens in these movies. The next time something's going to happen is going to be in Avengers Doomsday or Avengers Secret Wars. So it's like, why even bother watching any of the other movies when there's really going to be no significance? But anyway, let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think Marvel movies have a bad formula? Or do you still watch Marvel movies? Do you watch superhero movies? Do you care anymore? Let me know what you guys think, and I will talk to you guys in the next one.